Welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the main card fights for UFC Fight Night on ESPN Plus, Felder versus Hooker. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the main card. But before I get into that, I just wanted to give another shout out to Mr. A and the Predictor Wars. I think that's dope. That's a good concept, and it's really bringing and connecting the predictor, like the YouTube MMA predictor community together. But yeah, that's a dope concept, and I like it. But yeah, back onto the prediction. So in our first fight, we have in the featherweight division, Kevin Aguilar versus Zubara Tukhugov. We're looking at this one right here. I think it's a pretty straight up prediction right here. Tukhugov is most known for his wrestling, his grappling, sambo, getting the fights to the ground. His striking is okay. It's not the best, but it's definitely not the worst. So it's about average or a little bit above average, but nothing really super standout about his strike. What he really wants to do is get you to the ground. And I think Kevin Aguilar style-wise is a very dangerous style matchup for him because Kevin Aguilar has really solid takedown defense. And we look at his stats as far as over the course of his UFC career and really most of his career, but clearly with his UFC career, they have a whole site where you can just look at his stats and you can watch his fights. He has real good takedown defense. I think he holds most of his opponents to one takedowns, and they all shoot for like 5, 6, 7, 8 takedowns and maybe get one, if even that. And they never can really get solid control on taking him down. So he has good shutdown, takedown defense, and he has good scramble ability to get back to his feet as well. I'm not too sure about his grappling. I haven't seen too much of that, but he doesn't really stay on the ground very long. So at least confident on the ground enough to get back to his feet. And he has good ability to shut the takedown down. And he has, I think, see him as the more competent striker, more power, more precision, more accuracy, more value. Might see him as a more, just a more savvy striker between the two, and he has the takedown ability to takedown defense to shut down Tukhugov's wrestling. But Tukhugov might be the best wrestler that Aguilar has ever faced. So that's a good test for him. But I feel like statistically and the stats favor Aguilar in this one for him to be able to neutralize the takedowns of Tukhugov, keep him on the feet where he has the advantage, and to be able to outpoint and outstrike Tukhugov to decision. So that's kind of how I see the fight playing out. So in this fight, I have Kevin Aguilar via decision. Now on to our next fight we have in the lightweight division, Brad Riddell versus Magomed Mustafaev. That's it right there. Mustafaev. I got it. Yeah, so look at this one right here. Mustafaev, I think he has a sambo background. I'm not going to look too much into that. I was going to kind of go based off memory off that a little bit right there. But what I definitely most remember him for and what I've seen him go out there to do is I see him go out there and strike, have heavy hands, be physically imposing, beating his opponent's face the whole time, just cracking on him, and then pretty much attacking him like a natural disaster, just crashing right into his opponents and just pretty much trying to run them over. That's what I see from Mustafaev. I think in his last fight against Fiziev, he did throw a nice spinning head kick in there, spinning heel kick to the head. But other than that, most time I see him just running his opponents over, just being, I'm the bigger, stronger, more athletic, harder hitting fighter. I'm just the better fighter, and just running his opponents over. That's really what I've seen from him in the UFC. And going against Brad Riddell, who's coming out of that city kickboxing in New Zealand with And it has Israel Adesanya and Alexander Volkanovski and Kai Car France. They have a lot of solid strikers, and Brad Riddell is one of the better strikers in that camp. Probably the second most experienced kickboxer or striker in that camp behind Israel Adesanya. So Brad Riddell is a world-class striker, like a world-class, not like an MMA world-class, like legit world-class striker. And the Mustafaev, I think he has a grappling background as well, but we haven't really seen him even attempt one takedown in the UFC. I feel like in this fight, he's going to try to really mix it up. I mean, really just strike with Riddle, and I think that's a bad recipe for him. I think Riddle is just a world-class striker. And really, most of what Mustafaev, the only thing he's going to bring to him is that physical push, that physical, try to impose that physical on him. But Riddle's technique and his experience, he's not going to be even really fazed by what Mustafaev is bringing. And I think training that team City Kickboxing, City Kickboxing, they train, one of the things that stick out about them is how well they game plan. I think they're going to come up with a solid game plan to deal with whatever Mustafaev brings, and to be able to really allow Brad Riddle's skills to shine. And I think he'll be able to keep this fight on the feet where he wants to. I think Mustafaev not going to be in a rush to take it to the ground or try to mix it in unless it's not going his way. I think by the time he even tries to go to that path, Riddle's going to be so sharp and so in tune that he's going to be able to see the takedown, be defended, and then just really go back to work. And I think it'll be one of those fights where Riddle's going to break him down over the course of the fight. The first round, he might give it to Mustafaev, but it's going to be close. In the second and third, it's like he did in his debut fight. When he wants to get warmed up in there, he's really just on a different level than a lot of these guys in the striking aspect. And I think that's going to be the same case in this fight. I think he stops Mustafaev late. So in this fight, I got Brad Riddell via third round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the heavyweight division, Ben Sosoli versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima. So this is going to be a pretty quick one right here. I think on the feet, Ben Sosoli can definitely give de Lima the work. I think he definitely catch him and like slipping, like, cause even though de Lima is the more credentialed, more this, more that, and more experience and all that, I think Ben Sosoli has the much better boxing. I think he's much more composed on the feet. I think Lima does a lot of times rushes in and swings big shots, very sloppy, and can be caught and countered. But the aspect where it's just gonna clearly lean me to de Lima is that Sosoli, I don't think his takedown defense is all that good, and de Lima still is a very big, strong guy, and he has shown the ability to take people down both at light heavyweight and heavyweight. And Sosoli's takedown defense isn't the best. So de Lima has an area where he could clearly dominate, and that's by taking Sosoli down and dominating him on the ground. On the feet, at any point, I think Sosoli can catch him. De Lima swings these big wide hooks. I think Sosoli could slip a shorter hook in there, catch him, and rock him. And Lima doesn't really seem to be the smartest fighter out there. Sometimes he looks like a dimwit. A lot of times he looks like one. He acts like one sometimes in the cage. So Sosoli could definitely catch him. But that's going to lead to the more well-rounded fighter who has a clear aspect where he can dominate. I feel like de Lima can take Sosoli down and ground and pound him, whether it's over the course of the fight or just get a quick finish over him. And I'm gonna say he just finishes him. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go 3 rounds, late third round. So in this fight, I think Lima just ground and pounds him over the course of the fight, is wearing on him. I think he's eventually able to get him out there in the third with ground and pound. So in this fight, I got Marcos Rogerio de Lima via third round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the women's strawweight division, Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Yan Xiaonan, or Yan Xiaonan. I'm going to say Xiaonan, but look at this one right here. This is another kind of quick one right here. I think Karolina, she was one of the top fighters, which is like number 2 or number 3 for a long time. Maybe behind Gadelia, like she was Joanna, Gadelia, then it was Karolina. It was kind of for a good while. But now I think she's like skidding on a 3-fight losing streak. And it's not really even a fight where he's going to judge based off technique. I'm just going to judge. This is was a momentum prediction right here. I'm going to lean to Xiaonan based off momentum. Xiaonan is on a 4-fight winning streak in the UFC. I think undefeated or maybe 1 loss, but basically she has a lot of steam behind her, and she's looking good. She still hasn't certainly beat a caliber opponent that of Kowalkiewicz level yet, but she has some decent wins. Like I think her most recent win was Angela Hill. So at this point, I really think that Kowalkiewicz's fire is kind of questionable. Her confidence is kind of questionable. I think they both kind of have similar style, at least that they're not really knockout punches, but they're clean technique, output, volume. I think Kowalkiewicz, when she was on peak, she had a higher volume output, but right now it's kind of dropping. So I think it's about even at the moment. I think Yan Xiaonan just sharper, stronger, and she has the momentum behind her. So I feel like she can get the edge on the decision. So in this fight, I got Yan Xiaonan via decision. Now to our co-main event, we have in the light heavyweight division, Jimmy Crute versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. So looking at this one right here, I'm going to say straight up, I think Mikhail Oleksiejczuk is an undersized light heavyweight. He's 6 feet tall, but he's very slim, no type of muscles whatsoever, little weak legs, weak arms, a little stomach on him. He really bloated, what's it called, welterweight with a beer gut. And that before his last fight, he looked like maybe because his fights were so quick and he got his opponents out there and looked so clean, he looked like a force. But then in the OSP fight, he was looking okay. I mean, he wasn't looking okay. He was looking great. And then OSP was able to survive, weather the storm. And then eventually Oleksiejczuk just started, following the same patterns and throwing the same attacks, looking for the same openings. And they weren't there as much. And OSP started to see them and started to read them. And then when you saw Oleksiejczuk walking down OSP, you started to look, this guy looks very small. OSP is much bigger than him, much more filled out than him. This guy got no ass, got no legs, got no type of muscle definition. He breathing in his stomach, got his stomach sticking out. They got no shoulders, no chest, no nothing. And he started looking real small. And then when OSP just took him down, he just looked real weak and was dominated on the ground and got put in that Von Flue choke. So Oleksiejczuk, he definitely has some power in his hand, definitely got some speed, he got some good technique with striking. But on the ground, and really just in the physical aspects, he's just not strong enough for this weight class, in my opinion. I think he's much suited at the middleweight or welterweight. But really, most of these things, he brings hands and he brings some clean striking, some good eyes and good counters. But outside of that, I think he can be dominated by a lot of fighters just in that physical aspect. Or they mix it up and be more versatile, especially at the higher level. At this level, he was fighting a lot of people. He could just walk down on counter because they were predictable and he was faster than them. He was sharper than them and that stuff. But when he goes up, he's going to bring in a guy that's bigger, stronger than him, more versatile. I just think definitely in the near future, he got to drop down. I think Jimmy Crute, he's a guy that can bring a lot of versatility against him, another young guy. He's bigger than him. He's 6'2". He's filled out more than him. And he has grappling. I think he could take Oleksiejczuk down and dominate him. I think Crute does have some striking errors, issues, because he's still a young fighter. He leaves a lot of openings and his defense is questionable, and that gives Oleksiejczuk a chance. But Crute has a solid chin. He gets in these type of situations a lot, and he doesn't really have to worry about any grappling from Oleksiejczuk. So I feel like Crute can be a little bit sloppy in the grappling aspect and still be able to dominate Oleksiejczuk. All you have to do is get him down and hold him down, and he can really do a lot of work. I don't think Oleksiejczuk can really have any answer for that aspect. And I was really thinking this fight is going to come down to Jimmy Crute's work rate, maybe kind of weathering that first storm, kind of just letting Oleksiejczuk start to kind of become predictable and read him up, fill him out a little bit. And once he starts to really put that physical aspect on him and put that work rate on him, I feel like he's going to be able to fill out Oleksiejczuk and start to really break him down. And I actually think he stops him late in the third round. Another third round finish. So I think he wears him down and it really starts to get on top of him, get him down and ground and pound, and wear on him and put that size on him, put that strength on him, and then get that third round finish. And I think he gets it via submission. So in this fight, I got Jimmy Crute via third round submission. Now to our main event we have in the lightweight division, Paul Felder versus Dan Hooker. So this is a very exciting fight right here. Whether Felder wins or whether Hooker wins, this is like an exciting fight. Both guys always bring it. Both guys have amazing striking. But yeah, that's all besides the point. But should be a good fight. Should be something that you definitely should tune into. But looking at this fight right, you got Felder, who I think is 5'11", Hooker, who's 6 feet tall, but sometimes look like he's 6'2", because he's definitely uses that range. That all of his height, all his reach, and he uses it very well. And also his frame is very good. He has a very long frame. He might not be 6'2", but he has a 6'2" frame, even though he's only 6 feet, and he uses all that frame very well. Very long legs, very long limbs. Felder it's only a 1-inch height advantage, but Hooker also has a 5-inch reach advantage. So that's also something to note. So it was 75-inch reach versus 70. So that would be definitely in Hooker's favor. Then looking at the stats, I think Hooker actually beats Felder by a significant margin in every single stat there is. For striking output, striking accuracy, I think the only thing that he doesn't beat him is in strike absorption. I think Hooker absorbs more strikes, but in actuality, Hooker has the higher striking defense between the two. And he has the higher striking defense. I guess he gets more thrown at him, and maybe the Barboza fight added to that absorption rate. But outside of that, Hooker is just really stat-wise, he's better at every aspect, or at least stat-wise, just statistically. Statistics ain't everything. But even from what I've seen that Hooker is just longer range of fighter. I think he could pick apart Felder from the outside. And I don't really see Felder having any really good ability to get in and cut, get in and bob and weave and get in, slip into the inside and do damage. Really, anytime somebody keeps on the outside, he struggles to get in on the inside unless they give him an opportunity to get on the inside. They come in and they try to go toe-to-toe. They try to stand in the pocket with him, or they try to wrestle with him. Because an inside Felder is very dangerous because he has those sharp elbows, knees. He has the Muay Thai. Even on the ground, like in the Barboza fight, he was cutting Barboza off his back. So in the inside, Felder is disgusting. He's nasty. But on the outside, he's the most scariest guy from the outside. He has some good kicks. He don't really have the most long-range shots. So really, long-range, he really has kicks. And I think Hooker can just pick him apart with a jab from the outside, chew up his chew up his leg. So Felder, that could be a good opportunity. He could try to chew up Hooker's leg. But I think Hooker is very good at checking leg kicks. And I think he'll be the one dictating the pace. Dictating the striking with the kicks. Despite both having good kicks, Hooker will be the longer fighter. I think he's better at checking leg kicks. And I think he could dish out the leg kicks. And also I think he could keep that jab on Felder much as fight. I don't think Felder's boxing isn't the best either. So I really think Hooker's jab will be real effective in this fight. I think he could pick apart Felder from outside. From outside. And Felder won't have the best success getting in on the inside. I think he will find success, but I don't think he'll find the most. I think Hooker is a good fighter. He has good pace and conditioning to go 5 rounds. So it's nothing like Felder could come on late against him unless he hurts him somewhere in that point in the fight. So I really think Hooker just picks him apart from the outside over the course of this fight. Still competitive, but Felder really not rarely finding his opportunities in this fight. Whether he tries to mix it and grapple or whatever he tries to do, I just feel like he's going to have a struggle to do anything and have consistent success. And whereas Hooker is going to find success in his kicks, in his jab, and the low kicks. I think he beats Felder to a relatively clean decision. Still competitive, but relatively clean. Probably winning 3, if not 4 of the rounds clear. So In this fight, I got Dan Hooker via decision. And that concludes my fight predictions for the main card of UFC Fight Night on ESPN Plus, Felder versus Hooker. And as always, thanks for watching.